if you're Darius Garland, you got to be calling out for a flare screen right here. Like, Trae Young is clearly setting a flare screen. So Donovan Mitchell, who apparently doesn't know this is coming, you got to communicate this so he knows to get up and over this flare screen. See, why did that just happen? And now forces a late switch. Okay, so what is Lamar Stevens doing here? I don't understand. So Evan Mobley's guarding the ball just fine. And even if he wasn't, you would not be the one coming over to help. It'd be obviously right here. So why are you standing in absolute no man's land? Okay, this is off of drop coverage. If you're Ricky Rubio, your only focus needs to be to how do I get underneath the ball so I can guard again? When you gamble like this, look at all these gambles Ricky Rubio has. One there, one more there. I mean, you just continue to gamble. All that does is mean you can't get underneath the ball and guard it. So that's a problem. Cavs are in a zone. This is how your zone gets destroyed, when somebody in the zone is guarding nobody. This player's got to go here. This player's got to get up, okay? When somebody's guarding nobody in a zone, just like in man-to-man, you're leaving somebody. So the Cavs are in drop coverage. If you are Evan Mobley, you've got to get underneath the ball. You've got to be in a defensive stance with your feet set. You've got to be able to guard the ball and then be able to shift over if a pass is made. See, look at Evan Mobley. Now, all you're doing is backpedaling. How are you going to shift over on this pass? You're not. Okay, this is off of a steal right here. Okay, so why... This Cavs player is going to start sprinting back, and that's great, but why on earth is he slowing down here? Look at him slow down. Why'd you just slow down? If you're... What? This is off of drop coverage. If you're Caris LeVert, look at the space you have. You've got to get in this area here. Like, look, come on. You cannot be going at DeJounte Murray's back. Your only responsibility is how do I get underneath the ball? Well, now DeJounte Murray's got you on his back. And okay, so Lamar Stevens gets beat off the dribble by DeJounte Murray. Stop. So if Evan Mobley's coming to help, he's got to say something because this rotation has to be immediate. If Evan Mobley's going to double the ball, this player obviously has to slide down here. Look what happens. I mean, you're just a little late on this rotation, so now this drop-off pass is possible. This is a horrible switch all the way around. Okay, obviously this player can't be this far apart from the screener. If you're switching onto the ball handler, you got to get up. Okay, and this player's got to get underneath the screener. You can't switch over the top. So this is like the worst possible switch. If you're going under this screen, you cannot make contact with the screener. So this player probably needs to back off a little bit because you got to go straight under. If you make contact with the screener like this, look at this. Now Trae Young is on the other side ahead of you. That forces a second defender. That allows Capella to be open. Okay, this is a real problem. The Cavs are in drop coverage, so why is this player even having the thought of going under? You have to go over every single time in drop coverage. There's no instance where you go under if you're running drop coverage. Look at Caris LeVert here. Look at him try and go under. What are you doing? Now you're... Okay, so this is a turnover. Stop. Okay, so really it's all three of these players, but it's Evan Mobley whose man is going to be the one that gets them. Like, you have to sprint back now. The timing of when you start sprinting back is everything. Look at all three players, but mainly look at Evan Mobley. That's a massive problem right there. Like, how are you not in the picture? Caris LeVert, you cannot gamble trying to get a steal on a handoff, because look what happens. It ends up being a fake dribble handoff, but now you're leaning the wrong way. Okay, if you're Cedi Osman, you have to have your feet set if you want to be in the gaps. Look at Cedi Osman right here. Look at him try and get into the gaps right there. You're moving your feet inward. You have no chance of getting back out to Bogdanovic now. This shot goes up. Why is nobody for the Cavs? But look at this. Why is this Cavs player looking at the shot? Go box out Onyeka Okongwu. I mean, you literally have zero Cavs players boxing out if you want to be real about it. So, yes, the Hawks get this offensive board. Okay, so Donovan Mitchell is clearly setting up Trae Young. He wants him to come this way. Well, then Evan Mobley's got to get underneath. That's drop coverage. The big has to drop towards the ball. Evan Mobley just doesn't do that. So now Trae Young's able to turn the corner, which can never, ever happen in drop coverage, and we have real problems now. Hey, what is this player doing on this switch? You've got, when this player comes off this screen, which is Trae Young, by the way, you need to be in a defensive stance with your feet set. Like, look at Trae Young comes off the screen. Is this player in a defensive stance with his feet set? Well, I'll just answer the question by dragging it on a second longer. No. I mean, what is Lamar Stevens doing? You're not in a defensive stance. Your feet aren't set. This is a disaster. This is a total and utter disaster. You have no chance of getting out now. I mean, so now you're beat. I mean, not lean towards the screen. Watch Darius Garland leaning towards the screen. You're just going to get beat the other way, especially with it being Trae Young. What is Evan Mobley doing here? He doesn't double team. So then why is he paying zero attention to his man? Look at this. What is happening? So the Cavs defend this flare screen out of a sideline out of bounds atrociously. So if you're Darius Garland, forget trying to get to Trae Young. You have no chance of doing so. You have to be calling for a switch, and you have to be calling for a switch now. You're going to have to take Clint Capella, and Evan Mobley's going to have to step up and take Trae Young. The sooner that communication gets made, the better. The problem is that communication never gets made. So now Donovan Mitchell's got to step up. That leaves John Collins wide open. Okay, so Evan Mobley's guarding Clint Capella in the post right here. As soon as Clint Capella picks his dribble up, he just did stop. All Evan Mobley has to do is slide his feet. He doesn't have his dribble alive. There is zero reason for you to be climbing uphill now. See, look at this. Look at Evan Mobley's feet. Why is he going uphill now? So now Clint Capella can get you on an up and under because of that. Here's your problem right here. You're in drop coverage. Evan Mobley's not in drop coverage. You've got to be underneath the ball with your feet set in a defensive stance, ready to guard. With this being Trae Young, it is even more urgent that you do that. Evan Mobley is not, so you cannot guard Trae Young now and keep him in front of you. You're Lamar Stevens and you're in drop coverage. You must have your feet set in a defensive stance. If your feet are set here when Trae Young comes off of this, you can then shift over to John Collins on this roll. You'll have Donovan Mitchell in the gaps to help you out as well. But look at Lamar Stevens. His feet are not set. So you have zero chance now of sliding over to John Collins. Karis LeVert's just backpedaling here. He has no chance of guarding DeJounte Murray when he's backpedaling like this. Okay, stop. So you're going to have to play on his side. Now we have Donovan Mitchell's here in the gaps. This player here should get in the gaps. Okay? Because Karis LeVert guarding the ball one-on-one is just going to be detrimental to the Cavs now. So now you can play on his side. You can force him here. You have help. You can stunt, recover. Same thing here. Stunt. You don't have to move your feet, and your feet are set. You're always getting out to the three-point line in time. Okay? Like, no threes are given up. But again, Karis LeVert guarding the ball one-on-one right now is detrimental to the Cavaliers.